Let's look at another nonlinear dimension reduction technique, and this is has become quite popular lately. It's called stochastic linear embedding. A version of that is called TSNE, T distributed stochastic linear embedding. It's provided by, it was first suggested by Geoffrey Hinton and his colleagues, Sam Roves and others. And the idea is quite simple. The idea is that if we look at each point with respect to every other point, right? So if you look at each point xi with respect to every other point xj, right? And we find some other lower dimensional representation for these points xi and xj, then their neighborhoods should look the same in terms of distances. So what does that mean? What does the neighborhood looking the same in terms of distances mean? So what we mean by that is that, let's say if we have a point xi in high dimensional space and it has some neighbors. Okay, some neighbors are close, other neighbors are far. When I map it to yi, okay, so let's say this is xj, this is xk. Okay, in that new space, the yj should be roughly, and its distance with yj and yk. Okay, so these are all points. Okay, the ratio of these two and the ratio of these two in some sense should be maintained. If not ratio, some sort of relativity should be maintained. The relative distance of xi to all the other points should be same as the relative distance of yi to all the other y points, where y is a smaller dimensional space and x is the larger dimensional space. Okay, and we don't want to actually find the mapping per se, we just want to find the yi's that will give us that kind of all-to-all relationship. So the way this is done is that we define sort of the probability of point j given point I. Okay, and we find the probability of point yj given yi. Okay, and we say that these probabilities should be close to each other. Okay, so what is that probability? We will basically say that what is the probability of a point j given point I is basically what we'll do is compute something like a softmax of the Euclidean distance, and we will scale it by some sigma. So what does that mean? That points that are closer will have a larger impact in determining this, will have a larger probabilities. So basically P of j given I is going to be large when xi and xj is a small distance, and vice versa. So what is this softmax? Basically this is going to be e to the power xi minus xj, okay, divided by 2 sigma square. Okay, then sum over all j except then when j is equal to I, because we will just set that to 0. Okay, sum over, let's call it k because we have already used j. Sum over all k but not equal to I, e to the power the same thing, xi minus xk by 2 sigma I. Okay, that's it. Alright, so what does this mean? That all these will add up to 1 for any given j, alright, or for any given I, all of these will add up to 1, right? And the maximum weightage will be given to the nearest point other than the point itself. Okay, so that is basically what we are saying is the probability of point j given I. Right. Similarly, we can have something for the projected points y also, except that we simplify this. Instead of this, what we actually use is e to the power yi minus yj 1 plus e to the power minus 1 divided by sum over k of the same thing. Okay. That we use that simplification, and basically that simplification allows us to find it in a canonical space. We don't have to worry about what is the sigma and so forth in that new canonical space. Okay. And this y is of a lower dimension. Now what we do is, because of this we get two matrices, right? So if we take all pairs of I and j in both x and y space, we'll get a p matrix for the x space and the q matrix for the y space. Okay, so these are two matrices of size n cross n. All right, and these have the property that their rows will sum up to 1 and so forth, because of the way the individual entries were set up. Now we want their distance to be the distance of probability spaces. Think of these as probability distributions. The distance of probability distribution is something called KL divergence. We want this KL divergence to be low. Okay, so that KL divergence is given by sum over I, sum over j. Okay, we will have this p j given I. Okay, and then log of p j given I divided by q j given I. And with a negative sign. So that is the KL divergence. So we want to minimize this KL divergence. For that we want to pick y, the mapping to y's, such that this will be minimum, and that we can do using gradient descent, where y is randomly initialized first. So that's where the stochastic part comes in, and then once we randomly initialize that, we will compute the derivative of this KL divergence with respect to each y, and adjust each y until we find the minimum, until we reach the local minima, and that is the projection of each point x into each point y. Okay. And these neighborhood embeddings work quite well in practice. The neat thing about this is that the other non-linear dimension reduction methods, they expect these points to be dense. So because you want to unfold a manifold, right? So that manifold, if you take graph distances, let's go back here. Yeah. So if we look at this manifold, the methods such as locally linear embedding, the way they work is that they expect that these points are dense. Because why these points need to be dense is, let me draw with a different color. These points need to be dense because we want to form, we want to connect them using edges. We want to form a graph of these points. So let's take an example. So let's say we have, I'm trying to find a good color here. Yes, purple color. So we want to connect each of these edges, each of these sample points with edges based on some k nearest neighbor kind of connections, and based on that we will form a graph of these vertices. These points will be vertices, and their edges will be the connections will be the edges, and then on that graph we find the directions on which we want to unroll this. And that only works when the points are dense because of that neighborhood constraint. Whereas in t-SNE, we look at the distance, we look at the relation between each point and all the other points, irrespective of how far that point is. What will happen is that if the point is too far, then this softmax will have a very small contribution from a very far point, but we take into account all points. The disadvantage is that we can end up with a computationally expensive technique, number one. Number two, we also need to find out a good value for the hyperparameter sigma, right? And that also is you can change something called perplexity of t-SNE, and you can get different embeddings because of that. The last technique that I will talk about is autoencoder with bottleneck for dimension reduction. So what that means is that, let's say, basically it's a neural network that tries to reconstruct the data through a bottleneck. What that means is, let's say you have x1 dimension, x2 dimension, all the way up to x capital D dimension. These are dimensions, not samples. I can send this to a layer which has fewer than D neurons. Okay. Then I can send it through another layer that has even fewer neurons. Then I can start to expand the dimension. And then in the end I can have all the D dimensions. So I will call it x hat 1, x hat 2 and x hat capital D. So you can see where I'm going with this. So basically the objective of this diagram of this neural network is that we want to reduce the MSE between x hat and x. Okay, so we can, this is our objective. Okay, this is what we want to reduce. Okay, but the structure of the neural network is such that it progressively reduces the dimension. So this is contraction and this is expansion. Better term for this is encoder and decoder. So once we have trained this, we don't need the decoder, we only need the encoder. So this is the encoder, and what we get here is precisely y1 up to y small d. Okay, so the output that we get here, because it is trained in such a way that it will reconstruct the data well, this is a good representation of the data in terms of reducing the dimensions and without losing out on the MSE, without having too much MSE. On the other hand, because of the activation function of the neurons being nonlinear, this is a nonlinear dimension reduction technique. So this is called an autoencoder, and we can also enforce in the loss function. We can also add a loss function for a decorrelation between dimensions of y and so forth to bring better properties that these dimensions should also be independent with each other. So those things can also be brought in, but the simplest form is that we are just reducing the MSE. Okay, and the only thing is that the bottleneck, this is called the bottleneck. In the bottleneck, the dimension is much lower than the original dimension. So we are forcing all the information to flow through a fewer numbers so that we can reconstruct the original numbers, the large set of numbers. Okay. With this, we come to an end of this module. I hope you learned something useful about dimension reduction, both in the linear domain as well as the non-linear domain. Thank you.